If you're a regular, you know we focus on Bible prophecy each week for about 5 minutes, calling it a prophecy update. Scholars say that of the 2,500 or so prophecies in the Bible, there are approximately 500 of them regarding the end times awaiting future fulfillment. We should be able to see things trending in the direction of those prophecies. The things we share are not necessarily the fulfillment of them, but just expectations. For example, the Bible predicted that Israel, and Jerusalem in particular, would be incredibly troublesome politically in the end times. It was predicted thousands of years before it happened. It was to be expected, and it's obviously unfolding just as God predicted. The mark of the beast is described in the book of the Revelation as something on the body, on the hand or the forehead specifically, that will be necessary in order for a person to be able to buy or sell anything. Implied is that it will be able to track you as well. Sounds a lot like modern biometric technology, things like facial recognition or your fingerprints or palm vein scanning. There are literally dozens of different biometric techniques. And they could emerge in the future as the mark, or it could be something else. We're not saying any of these are the mark, but reading about them is what you would expect. China is giving us a foretaste of the world to come in the Great Tribulation. The New York Post ran an article titled, "China's New Social Credit System is a Dystopian Nightmare." Let me read you a few excerpts from the article. Imagine calling a friend, only instead of hearing a ringtone, you hear a police siren and then a voice saying, "Be careful in your dealings with this person." Would that put a damper on your relationship? It's supposed to. Welcome to life in China's social credit system, where a low score can ruin your life in more ways than one. Say you arrive at the Beijing airport intending to catch a flight to Canton, 1,200 miles south. The clerk at the ticket counter turns you away because, you guessed it, your social credit score is too low. Not only are you publicly humiliated in the ticket line, you are then forced to travel by train. What should have been a 3-hour flight becomes a 30-hour stop-and-go nightmare. But an embarrassing ringtone, flight bans, and slow trains are just the beginning of the dystopian nightmare that is now daily life in China for tens of millions of people. A low social credit score will exclude you from well-paid jobs, make it impossible for you to get a house or a car loan or even book a hotel room. The government will slow down your internet connection, ban your children from attending certain schools, and even post your profile on a public blacklist for all to see. Elements of the system are in place throughout China. As the government refines its algorithm, the final rollout is scheduled to be in place nationwide by 2020. That's 1.5 billion people that will be tracked and dealt with according to some kind of a biometric thing. Now, just a few years ago, let alone 2,000 years ago, when John wrote this on the island of Patmos, it was considered ridiculous to think anything like this could happen, privacy issues and the such. This is the world that we live in. And you know what? It's the exact world that you would expect from reading the Bible. I don't know how anyone today, especially when Israel became a nation again, but there's these other things too, how anyone cannot read the Bible from a futurist standpoint and understand that there are literal, unfulfilled prophecies that are going to come true. And there just are. This is so similar to what the Bible predicted in the first century, it almost sounds made up. Just look it up for yourself. It's real. Jesus promised he'd return, said he was going to rapture and resurrect the church, and that was an imminent event. It could happen at any moment. So we trust in that. And the question is, are you ready for the rapture? If not, get ready, stay ready, keep looking up, because ready or not, Jesus is coming.